Oh my.
So day 2, if you have missed the first video, go back or else you're gonna be completely confused about what the heck I'm talking about, where we were going, why we were where, yada yada. So make sure you see video number 1. I will link it below. Then come on back and join us. If you're here from the first video, hello again. And yes, still in the same outfit, still the same day filming from day 1, because I wanted to knock these out. So the second day we were headed to Green Bay, of course, because we needed to get there for Monday's meeting. So we very quickly hopped into Wisconsin. Like, that happened way quicker than I thought it would. Who knew they were so close together? Geography. But I was never good at geography. So we hopped on into Wisconsin, took this cute little picture at the Welcome Center. And I went down the slide, obligatory, because it was a cute slide and it wasn't wet and there were no children. We pulled on into Milwaukee, and there is so much to do in Milwaukee that we could have stayed there for several days. And the fact that we were rolling in on a Sunday meant that we had to plan kind of back to back, make decisions on the fly because there was not enough opening hours for all of these things for us to just lollygag. So by the time we got into town, it was lunchtime, so we went to this place called Bingie's. And it is a like Jewish deli slash diner place which had amazing pastrami and amazing Eggs Benedict. I mean, so good. The people there at the diner section were super nice. The people in the deli section cutting the meat, super nice. We ended up getting, I ended up with a pastrami sandwich. Tad ended up with, I think, some sort of pastrami sandwich. Mom ended up with pastrami with poached eggs on top and hollandaise sauce because, yes. And it was so delicious. It was in a place, Shorewood. And then we went to a lighthouse. I don't know if you know this, but you should know this by now. Tad and I are lighthouse fiends. Like, there's just something really cool about going to the tippy top of a lighthouse and checking out the view. They're always by some gigantic bodies of water, which means the view will be spectacular. Normally there's a workout involved, which means we'll be and have productive for the day. And it's crazy to imagine being the person lugging oil up those things to keep them lit. So we find lighthouses and we love them. So we found this one called the North Point Lighthouse in Milwaukee, and it had so much history, and it had a 3-part history because the first time they built it, not a good place. Second time they built it, it ended up going eroding off, and then the third time they built it, they ended up using pieces from all 3 times. So as you climb the lighthouse, you're climbing different histories of the build, which is cool. Like, the stairs even change, and the brick around you and the cast iron and all the building materials change as you go. And as far as lighthouses go, it's one of the shorter ones. It's not nearly as tall as some of the ones, like we went to one in Pensacola that was much higher than this. So if you're afraid of heights or you don't want that much of a workout, this was a really good one. That it's Milwaukee, which is basically the birthplace of beer. Sorry, St. Louis. There was all sorts of beer history to be seen. So we went to the Pabst Mansion. Yeah, that Pabst. That guy. And he had a ginormous mansion. We walk in and you're gonna think, why the heck would I spend money on this tour? Because where the gift shop is like peeling, dilapidated. It was not meant for what it is, but they're redoing it, which is good. The rest of the mansion is in pristine condition. It's beautiful. We actually got in free because Tad is in the military. So if you're a military family, make sure that you ask for the military discount. That was definitely highly appreciated. I think it was $15 or $16 per person. I will put the actual amount on the screen somewhere, which would have been worth it because it was a very lengthy tour, lots of cool stuff to see. They allowed full photography, full video, which is why I have these good clips.
Now all floors are parquet on this floor, and there's no all this tile you see in the house. So this is a copy of the original. You can see because the ladies were a lot of the books are in German because they were bilingual, spoke German and English. What would have kept me pass?
You could stand me up at the gates of hell, but I won't back down. Gonna stand my ground, won't be turned around, and I'll keep this world from dragging me down. Stand my ground.
And by the time we were done with that, we were too late for any of the Miller tours. So we went to Miller Valley, which is basically their little compound for all their brewing. We drove around, we saw cool stuff, but we certainly did not get the full tour because we were too late for that, being that it was a Sunday, and that the Pabst Mansion tour did take a lengthy amount of time. So the next thing that we did was go to the botanical domes. Sorry, I just hit the camera. Botanical domes, which we lovingly called the boobs because they looked like, by the way, it's called geodesic. Now you know. Basically a bunch of segments making up this dome cone thing where they had all sorts of things living up in there, which was cool. They had like an entire desert, they had a tropical land, trees that are bigger than most greenhouses can harness. So we went there, but we were close to closing time. So basically the lady told us we had like 20 minutes and less to get through this thing and get out. But we are adventurers, by Jove, so we did it. We ran through all the cones more than once, so we got a full view. In the middle of Wisconsin. And then we left, and the next thing that we saw that we kept seeing in the skyline was this Shriner temple that was awesome. I mean, beautiful. I wish I could have gotten a better video, but we were kind of on the run, had to get to Green Bay. So I got a really cool picture of it, but we kept seeing it in the skyline, so we basically just like followed it around to figure out what the heck it was, because we couldn't even figure out what to Google as to what it was. We also drove by and got a picture of the Miller Lite Airstream bus thingamabob. And then, oh, we saw a basilica there in Milwaukee that was gorgeous. It's on the corner of some pretty heavy street traffic, so it's kind of hard to get pictures. It was closed when we went, so we couldn't go inside. But awesome. It was the Basilica of St. Josaphat, which is a weird name, but definitely worth going to because you rarely see churches that big and ornate and beautiful that are still standing in good condition and they still function. And then the last thing we did was go to a place called Mater's. Here's a tip. Go to the travel or the visitor center in Wisconsin whenever you happen to go. and get their little Milwaukee brochure, because on the back is a coupon to Maters for either a free bottle of wine of a $25 value, or you can get a free Reuben roll appetizer. We went for the wine. Definitely good. It is pricey, but it was all very good. We had very good service from our waiter, and it was sort of a nostalgia thing. They have free valet parking on site, which is great because Milwaukee was one of those cities where we lucked out on parking, but there was not any parking around that restaurant. We basically pulled in and we were gonna pay for the valet, and the guy said it was free since we had dinner there, so that was cool. We did not get to see the Golden Fawns, and I do want to go back to Milwaukee and go see the Golden Fawns because he's there on the Riverwalk. We just missed him by a block. And then several hours later, I think it was not several hours, probably 3 hours later, we were in Green Bay at our hotel, and the guy at the hotel desk said that he was basically overwhelmed with Packers fans, unlike you normally get in the summer, because you know, they're only normally around in the fall. But all of us Packers fans were in there, and we were so excited for the next day, but also so exhausted because we had plenty of driving and running here and running there, and everything was closed, so we had to hurry and yada yada yada. So we passed out and went to bed. And then it was time for day 3 in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So that was day 2. I hope that you will join us for day 3, which is coming out soon. Let me know in the comments below what was your favorite part of day 2. I think my favorite was probably the mansion. I had no idea that that place was gonna be so cool on the inside. And also my favorite part of the day was probably running through botanical gardens with my mom while she's trying to get all the Facebook pictures that she can possibly get of every single flower that was in there. That was so much fun. So I hope that you will give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying this series, and of course I hope that you are subscribed so you don't miss the next video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!